from there, I was like, I think I know what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to make comics. Yeah. Now you have the freedom to try stuff because it's really just you, and you never know what's going to work until you try it. You know,
the freedom to fail is like been my motto for the last 6 months on this whole process. You know, it's just, I'm okay if I put something out and it fails and it just nobody likes it. I don't get any, you know, whatever. But it's gonna lead to something that's gonna be better later. You know, same thing with the comic.
We're gonna help each other.
I'm gonna have to edit that out. I just thought about Welcome to Talking Comics. You know, before we dive into your book, you know, tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into this.
Well, my name's Kane Gallagher. I'm a writer and an illustrator. I do all sorts of different art as well. You know, I do digital paintings and I've dabbled in a lot of different styles over the years. But illustration is really my main focus. So I do like really intricate, hyper detailed artwork. It's my favorite thing to do, like the stuff you can see behind me here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got into comics probably when I was about 10 years old. The first comic I ever read was Wolverine number 100. And purely because I saw the cover and it looked awesome. And I just said, I want that. And I never looked back. As soon as I got that, you know, that was the start of everything. And it got me into a lot of different like pop culture things and movies and animation and things like that. And now I've got a whole room packed full of comics. And from there, I was like, I think I know what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to make comics. Yeah.
That's awesome. So how did you get started drawing?
Well, I've always drawn. So even when I was a little kid, I've always, I don't know, been artistically inclined, I guess. So as soon as I could pick up a pencil, I wanted to draw something. But obviously, you know, as time went on, I became better and better. But I think I always had, you know, more skill than the average person. I don't know. I guess my brain works differently.
From the stuff I've seen, the guy got saying, I mean, it's you know, it's really good.
Yeah, thanks, man.
It's a whole different style, you know, the cyberpunk kind of style of high hyper detail, like you were saying, like so much detail. Yeah, like I would draw a person and then like forget half of everything else, but you've got so much. I don't know. Well, I'll have to throw a picture up or something, and you know, in the edit and show people because it's amazing.
I mean, my goal is always to fill up the page as much as possible. You know, I just feel like I can't stand wasted space. There has to be something, you know what I mean? And I think every little detail contributes to the story of a picture as a whole. Not only just, you know, in a comic where you have to do it frame by frame, but just a picture can tell a story, you know. And if you can fill up a page, it's so much better because every time you look at it, you can find something new. And I think that's just way more interesting than just having, you know, slapping a person in the middle of the page. You know what I mean? It's like, there's so much space around there. Come on.
Right. So what was like the initial inspiration for this book?
I would say Sin City is a huge one for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, in probably like my later teen years, going into my 20s, that's when I discovered like a lot of Frank Miller's work and more adult comics, a lot more violent comics, you know. And yeah, I don't know. I had the idea. It started with one piece of art, which was, I can show you. This piece here, which is the cover of the second chapter. So, you know, it implies that violence is imminent, you know.
So there will be a book 2, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, there's going to be. Okay. I'm planning on a trilogy. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, we haven't even got to that yet. It's like, so the comic's called Underground, right?
The Underclass.
Underclass. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it right here in front of me, and I, you know, can't read. But the Underclass. What was so your inspiration was like the violence of Frank Miller, Sin City.
Yeah.
What was like your rituals or habits do you have when you're creating, you're drawing, when you're sitting there getting ready to draw this stuff?
Geez, I don't know. I mean, I work on a tablet, so I always do the same thing. I set it up the same way, and every now and then it doesn't work, and I have to mess around with it for a couple of hours until it starts working again. But I've been using the same tablet for like 20 years, and it still works.
So you're drawing like on a tab, not like an iPad. You're drawing like on a
On
tablet on
my
the.
Cintiq Wacom tablet. Yeah.
Okay. So you start from scratch. It's blank screen, and you're just using the tablet for all your drawing.
Yeah. Yeah. But I use a lot of references. I think references are key, especially when you're doing like backgrounds and stuff. It's like, if you don't know how to draw a certain type of car, we'll find a picture of that certain type of car, or even better, get a 3D model of it, or create a 3D model of it. You know what I mean? And then you can get it in the right position. You can get it in the right. You can get the perspective right, so
Right.
that when you put the characters in, you know exactly where they need to be in relation to everything else and the size they have to be. You know what I mean? It just makes things easier. So yeah, I've always done that. Um, but yeah, I think draw once a lot of the time I'll draw something, like I'll draw a panel, and then I'll think it's done, and then I'll go back to it later and go, I can fit more in there, and then I'll keep adding into the backgrounds, and it always looks better. I've yet
Right.
to do that where I think it's too much, so I'll just keep going and going. Yeah, that's what I do. I found I've done that more than once. Yeah.
So you have an office you work in, like describe your workspace. You don't just go to the
Oh
coffee
yes,
shop and
yeah.
draw.
Work in my study, yeah,
Okay.
from home. Yeah. Um, and I do a couple of other things from here as well. But yeah, this is where I make comics, and most of my artwork. Yeah.
How many comics have you done? I know like I've seen some cool you had a whole portfolio of stuff.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty much my only one that's like all mine. So
Okay.
I wrote and illustrated this, but I have done stuff in the past, and it's mainly just like color work for other people, and you know, doing covers. I'm doing 3 covers right now for my publisher for a guy that's joined our publishing company. Um, but yeah, mainly I had to because I had to spend so much time on this. I had to kind of push everything else to the side. There was a time where I was like, okay, I'm willing to do anything just to break into the industry, and then I was just like, I don't really want to draw other people's ideas. I've got so many good ideas I think that are better than these. I should just focus all my time on this. So that's what I decided to do, and it took like
100%.
4 years. So you gotta
What
pick and choose what you spend your time on.
Oh, 100%. What's the time frame you've been working on this book?
Yeah, it's like it took me about 4 years.
4 years.
But it was, in my spare time, essentially. So, I still was doing a regular job during the daytime. And then every time I had a spare moment or on the weekends or whatever, I would sit down and I would add a bit more and a bit more and a bit more, plot away frame by frame, until I got there in the end. And then I went back and redid the backgrounds. But, then there was a whole phase of editing, and that probably took like a year. And there was also I was submitting to publishers for a long time and getting no traction. And then finally I met the guys I'm with now, which is Wild North Comics, and yeah, they believed in me and they published it, and they saw all my other artwork and they said, let's make a couple of art books as well. And I was like, okay, cool. But it took time. It took a long time to find the right fit, the right editor, all of that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's with anything, the podcast, anything. Yeah, it just takes time. You just got to put stuff out there, and you
Yeah.
meet people along the way, and you never know what happens. I mean, that's I'm still small
Well,
time, but I'm okay
you
with
got to
that.
start somewhere.
You got to
Everyone.
start somewhere. This is episode 18. You go back and watch episode 1, which was only like 3 months ago, and it's so much better, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the background's better, the mic's better, the everything's, everything gets
It's
better.
funny how quickly you can learn things as you do them. You have to do them to find
Exactly.
them. Yeah.
And that was one of the main reasons I actually started this podcast. Was the other podcast I do, I was doing it, for my day job basically, and it's corporate. It's way too much oversight. Nobody,
Mm.
10 levels of approval. Like I
No.
can't fail. Like
Yeah.
I can't test and fail. And so
Yeah.
I started this just to really learn and get my reps in and practice and you know, kind of the same principles of, we're in golf coaching, and, we preach, get your reps in, do your something golf every day. Well, now it's okay, do my episodes, do something podcast every day, read my comics, prepare. So it's, it all goes hand in hand. You got to start somewhere, like you said.
Yeah, but also, now you have the freedom to try stuff because it's really just you, and you never know what's going to work until you try it.
The freedom to fail is like
Yeah,
been my motto for the last 6 months on this whole process. It's
yeah,
just, I'm okay if I put something out and it fails and it just nobody likes it. I don't get any, whatever. But
yeah,
it's gonna lead to something that's gonna be better later.
yeah.
Same thing with the
You
comic
can't
principle.
learn. You don't learn without failing. It's the only way you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's so many great quotes. We'll just stop right here. No. This has been great. No. All right, so share about, the Underclass. Tell us about it. What it is about. I got to read the preview. Um, that's on the web. I think the free download that's on the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I read all through that this morning. I enjoyed it. I can't wait to read the rest of it.
Thanks, man. So it's set in a high school that teaches kids to be criminals. So that's the setting. But the story itself is really, it's 4 short stories split into 5 chapters about 4 different students that are kind of stuck in this school. They don't want to be there, and they're not there for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Other people are sent there because they aspire to be criminals. These kids are stuck there. So it's almost like going to a prison when you're innocent. And these kids have to learn to adapt and either become violent like the people that they're in there with, or retreat and find some kind of coping mechanism. And it gets pretty violent. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of gore. And Yeah, it's about how they survive and how they cope, and what they're willing, the extremes they're willing to go to in order to survive. Really,
Which character is your favorite? Have I met the character yet?
I don't
In the
think you
pre
have, no.
Okay.
Um, Most people would say Frank. The people that I have showed the book to say they like that chapter the most. And originally that was the last chapter, but after a round of editing with my editor, he said you should split it into 2, and it should bookend the book. So you should have it the first half at the start and the last half at the end. And I was like, okay, that's actually kind of perfect, because the end of his story really is a great ending to the book. But I did write it in a way that the stories are interchangeable and they can go anywhere, and the story would still make sense. But yeah, my favorite character is in the chapter called Sophomore Serial Killer, and you don't really know his name. You're not supposed to, so I just refer to him as the Sophomore Serial Killer. Yeah, I think he's kind of a cool character because he's kind of like Dexter. You know, he goes through the school and he discreetly takes out the really bad people and flies under the radar, and no one knows who he is. That you wouldn't even notice him in a crowd, but he's very good at killing people until he goes a little too far, starts killing the wrong people, and it starts to catch up with him. So that was a good story, really fun to write.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
make a note. Sophomore serial killer. That way I will remember when I read it. Because you're set for a December release, right? Everything's on track for a December release.
Yes. Most of it will probably ship out sooner because we've already printed the 2 of the books, and we have a whole bunch in a warehouse. Um, but yeah, it's going to be pretty easy to reprint these, because this is a pre-launch edition, which I've been
Okay.
signing and numbering down here, and we've just been selling these at conventions. But the one that's going to come out after the Kickstarter that we're going to print, we'll go through the same printer, so they already have all the pages ready in that. But it just won't have this here, and it will have extra pages on the inside. And I'm working on those, and they'll be done in like a week. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Is there any real life inspiration for this?
Um, I mean, I think just, the whole everyone's experienced bullying at some point in their high school experience, you know what I mean? So I think that probably comes into play a little bit. Yeah. I was probably a lot angrier when I was, younger and in my teen years. And I think maybe that came out of me when I was creating this. Not so much anymore, like I'm over it,
Right.
but yeah, I think a little bit of that was in the back of my mind. I'm not sure if I was conscious of it at the time, but it seems like the story kept getting more and more violent, but it's a good way to get out anger and frustration, put it into your creativity. I think, positive thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I definitely was an angrier person when I was younger. Definitely calmed
And
down a
most
lot.
people are,
Most people are.
and you get older and you're like, oh, I can't be bothered,
Yeah, I'm too old for that now. I just want to sit
Yeah,
in my room and record podcasts now. But
I just want to chill out. Yeah,
yeah, I just chill and hang out, read comic books all day.
exactly.
Do you have any like hidden Easter eggs in your books?
Hmm. Um, I'm not sure about. Oh, well, yes, actually, yes. In this one, well, the school is called Alva High School. So then the city is called Alva City, and I go because I've always been a skateboarder and a skate fan. So I specifically named that after Tony Alva, who is one of the godfathers of skateboarding. And there's a whole chapter called Death Race that's about skateboarding, and I put little winks and nods here to different things, different skaters, like names and things like that. But definitely in the next one that I'm working on now as well, there's going to be like bits of graffiti here and there, which are going to allude to a character that's in the next book. So yeah, I do like to put little things in there in the background, that sometimes people can spot. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I've never really been part of the scene. I tried skateboarding and hurt myself.
Yeah, I
But
did a
my
lot too.
yeah,
You only
a
learn through
lot.
failure.
Yeah, right. You gotta learn. I didn't know all this when I was 16 trying to learn how to skateboard. But my
Yeah.
daughter's 10 and she's tried it a few times and she has one and she looks so good as a skater kid too. It's so funny. I never thought I'd see that, but she'll dress like it sometimes, and I'm like, that's actually a really cool look for you.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You never know, she can go to the Olympics or something.
hey,
These days, they learn so quickly, it's crazy.
whatever she wants to do, I'll support her 100%.
Yeah.
So, who's your dream collaborator, like that you'd want to collab with?
I mean, hmm. Look, I mean, if I got the chance to, like, draw something for, like, Frank Miller, that'd be fantastic. But also Mark Miller is a huge I love his work. Everything he does, I just have to get it and read it, yeah. Also probably, Garth Ennis, yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, I would say Frank Miller's probably the top of the mountain, yeah.
Right, 100%. I've been listening to a bunch of who was it? Robert Rodriguez, and like he took a lot of inspiration from Frank Miller and for Sin City and stuff.
Yeah,
And it was stuff's amazing. And I
yeah,
don't know if we're allowed to talk about it, but I saw there was in your portfolio there was like a Red Sonja cover. Can you explain
yes.
that? How'd that come about?
It was for a competition on, threadless.com. So it was for a T-shirt design, but they said, if it's good enough, we'll put it on the cover of a comic as well. And I said, okay. So I gave it a go and I won. So I was like, okay, awesome. But unfortunately, now the company's kind of in a little bit of disarray. So they've like stopped
Oh,
making Red Sonja titles for a little bit. They've got one out, it's called like Red Sonja Noir. So my cover wouldn't suit that book right now. So I've got to wait until they bring back the colored one again. And then they said they'll put it on.
so it
A
hasn't been on a book yet.
year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So expect it to come one day. That'll be because it
One
looked
day,
really cool.
hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
I
is
mean,
on a T-shirt. You can get it from Threadless right now. Yeah.
really, that's cool. And then, like, yeah, I'm not a snake person, but the artwork was fantastic. And I
Yeah.
haven't picked up any Red Sonja yet, but I've toyed with, maybe getting a couple. I
Yeah,
kind of
well,
wait and
I was more of a Conan guy, and I took a lot of inspiration from the Conan movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger when I was creating that,
that
with the giant
makes,
snake. Yeah.
yeah, now that you mention it, when I think about it and look at your artwork, yeah, 100%. That
And,
was really cool.
yeah, love his work, so always a big inspiration when I'm doing digital painting like that. Yeah.
I don't know if we're allowed to do this. But can we share this Kickstarter?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I've done
Sure.
it on
Let's
other
see.
stuff. Yeah.
Bring it up here. So I have the tab open, but you're really close. You got 5 days to go.
Yep.
You only got what, a couple hundred more dollars, 300 more bucks to go, 350
Yeah.
maybe. Now, I wanted to ask about this because this is in shouldn't, but I'm going to. Where's it at? The rewards. Let's see, where's it at? This right here. This is like the
Yeah.
coolest thing to me
Yeah.
that you're doing. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking about actually doing this. So I'm gonna back it right now, live on, well, it ain't live, but it is live on our podcast.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Um,
Yeah, I've had a fair few people already pledge for that one, so
yeah,
pretty
you had
stoked
what,
about that.
7?
Yeah.
And so I don't know how we're gonna do it, but I want to be like the nerdy comic book guy
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, for sure.
as the pitcher. What else do I have to do here? Continue to payment. Hopefully, I don't share my payment information. Well, it does, but whatever. Um,
Just just
I'll
the end
edit
of
that out.
yeah, yeah. Blur that.
Blur that. Pledge. All right, so let's get you a little bit closer to. There we
Awesome.
go.
Thanks. Hugely appreciate it,
I've
dude.
been thinking about it all day, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do it on the podcast because I've been wanting
Yeah.
ever since I was reading all this stuff last night and this morning to prepare for this. And I was like, all right, that'll be kind of cool. They'll do it on the podcast.
That
But
is
there you go. It's Kickstarter.com. I don't know how do we get back to it, but we'll figure it out. The underclass, maybe yeah, there we go. I can
yeah,
click
there you
here.
go.
And did it actually share? Share this tab instead. There we go. But there we go. So there you go. You're
A little bit closer
a
now.
little bit
Yeah.
closer. So you got 5
Appreciate
days to go. My goal is to get this episode done tonight. I'm gonna stop
awesome.
sharing. I'll go ahead and I'll try to edit it tonight and get it released, and maybe I can get one more person to sign up for you.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. Thanks, man.
is there anything? And I guess how does it? I'll read it later, but I guess I have to send you a picture and like whatever my quote's gonna be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can just send it to my email, or I can message you through the Kickstarter, and
Okay.
you can send it through there, I think. But yeah,
Okay.
I'll if you give me your contact info, I can or I'll give you my contact info. Yeah, that'll
Either
probably be
way,
it.
we'll figure it out. But
Yeah.
I just think it'll be cool. And then when it comes in a few months, I'll do another whole episode and show it off. So
So your picture, yeah, awesome.
yeah, show the picture in it because I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, so you said this is available through Kickstarter, and
Mhm.
then once the Kickstarter's over, is it available anywhere else?
Yeah, well, we kind of do print on demand as well, so
Okay.
we'll be, you know, stocking it in stores here in Australia, where we have some sort of distribution network in America. We go through Amazon,
Okay.
so we're kind of working on getting in stores in the US as well at the moment. But we have a website, so on the Wild North Comics website, there will be a catalog, and well, there is a catalog right now, but my book's not in it yet because we're still in the Kickstarter. But once it's over, my book will be included in the catalog, and you can get it direct from there too.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you plan on doing any conventions in the US at all?
Oof, if I can afford to get over there, yeah. I would like to, yeah. Look, I mean, we've been talking a little bit about, San Diego, and maybe if we can get it in somehow to there. Um, my publisher seems to think that it's possible, and he might be able to sort something out, because there's a few different, publishers here in Australia, and we all kind of talk to each other and work with each other on different things sometimes. So sometimes, we can pool our money together and all go over as a group and have a stand for all of our publishing companies, you know.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but
Yeah.
yeah, we were looking into doing something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely pays to work together. Like
Yeah.
We're
But it's
not all against each other. We're all for we're all trying to help each other. It's just like back in
sure.
that thing. I couldn't help myself, but I love
Yeah.
doing this kind of stuff and who cares? I love it.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, it's awesome.
What's something you'd want to go over that we haven't talked about?
Hmm. Um, I think probably just some of the rewards if people are interested.
Sure. We can pull it back up
So
and look at it. Let's
we've
do that.
got
Let's see.
um, yeah, we've got so it's not just one book in this. I actually created 3 books. So
Right.
this is an art book. You can get that with it as well. And this has got heaps of art that I've done over the years.
We'll move this over here so I can see you better. There we go.
And we've also got a coloring book, which has all my really detailed artwork in it.
So you get the cover A, you got the cover B. I like the
Mhm.
cover A myself.
Yeah,
The
people send.
wraparound cover is really cool.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You've got so what's the Wizards of Oz? What is the meaning behind that?
So it's basically it's my comic, and it's another 3 comics from different creators and publishers in Australia. So it's kind of like there's an example of us all working together in Australia. On other people's campaigns, they can use my book as a PDF, and I use other people's, and we all share and we help each other out because
Heck yeah.
it's like, okay, if you're going to back and get a PDF version, it's cool, but hey, it's even better for $6. You get 4 books.
Right? That's
Pretty
pretty
great.
cool.
Yeah.
Then there's the cover B. You
Yep.
got
And that's
that
the
one.
painted one that I did. Yeah.
That's awesome. All
Thanks,
right,
man.
so we got the wraparound cover and painted cover. You can get
Yeah,
both.
both if you want. If you can't choose just one.
Yeah, right. I love how you do. Well, we'll get there, but let's see. Then we got the maximum bundle.
Yeah.
This
So those
is
are my other 2 books. One is a coloring book and one is an art book. And the art book has a lot of really cool stuff in it. It's got a lot of like cyberpunk inspired stuff that's really intricate and really fun and bright and colorful. A lot different than the graphic novel, which is quite dark and bloody.
yeah, and then the coloring book, the detail in that was just crazy.
Yeah, man, thanks. Yeah, people seem to respond to that. Certain types of people when they see it, they're like, "I almost don't want to color it because it's just so beautiful." And I'm like,
Right?
"You can buy the art book, and there's colored versions of that art in the art book, so you can tell how to color it."
Ooh, that's cool. I
Yeah,
saw this on I think the website, the Wild North Comics bundle. So you get
yeah.
were you involved in these at all or?
No, I only just joined this publishing company,
Okay.
but yeah, they have 7 volumes, I think, of anthologies. So they started. That was like their first publication. It was an anthology that they would put out like a couple of times a year, and all the creators, like a lot of their books that are now graphic novels, started in those anthologies as short stories, and then they would just do chapter by chapter each time it came out. You know what I mean? And then
Mm-hmm.
eventually, they had created enough where they could take each story individually and compile them into separate graphic novels. And now we sell those at conventions and online and things like that, and so that's pretty cool. Yeah,
I love that you did this. A lot of people are doing this now, but so I used to own a game store, like a little hobby store, sold board games,
yeah,
card games, and a lot of the Kickstarters that did, retailer bundles, that's huge for them,
yeah, for
and the
sure.
price is right, you know?
I mean, I did. It's not even something I had thought about, but when I was promoting it, like during pre-launch, a guy hit me up and he said, "I'm in Germany and I have a store," and it's like, "Can I get a? Are you going to have a retailer bundle?" And I was like, "Well, I am now."
I am now.
And then he's the one who backed it, so I'll be sending them over to Germany. Yeah,
Awesome. That's fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm gonna send a note to my store, see if maybe he'll do it.
mm.
That'd
Yeah. A
be
lot of
pretty
the
cool.
time, like people don't even know. So I've gone to comic stores in Australia, and you just go, "Hey, dude." you want to buy some? And they'll buy like 10 at a time and then just stock them on the shelf. So that's pretty cool, you know?
Right. Let's see. So when we have the maximum art collection, what is
Yeah.
that?
So those are 3 pieces of artwork that are in the art book in maximum volume, but these are going to be like highly detailed, expertly printed on really nice canvas type paper that you can frame and hang on your wall. They're going to be A2, so they're going to be quite large. Um, but yeah, you know, which is good because then you can see all the tiny little details, you know. So for all the art lovers out there that like to collect art, that one's for them.
That's cool. And then we have this one, the Wild North Creators Bundle.
Yeah. So these are all the books that we sell at our conventions.
Okay, so
So
yours is in there, and then some of
yeah,
the other ones
it's
they publish. Okay,
Yes, a whole bunch of different creators in there, and we've got this new book that just came out in there called "The Chronicles of Chimera," which is pretty cool. It's like a samurai kind of style, almost like a Ronin type story. It's really cool. But yeah, we've got heaps of good stuff there. You know, all different genres, all different art styles, but really, really well done, quality stuff. Yeah.
maximum rock. Oh yeah, so I saw that this is neat. You can get a skateboard deck, one
Yeah,
of
yeah.
two.
Yeah, and I
That would
just
be
have
pretty
a couple of
cool.
them printed. I've got some over here if you can see.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, um, yeah, so I just got those printed and I took them to a convention last weekend, and, so I was just using them as display models because those were test prints, and, I already had, like, 3 people ask me if they could just buy them straight off the table, and I was like, "I can't because I need
Can't
to
do
show
that.
people to get them to go to the Kickstarter," you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
tell them to go back it.
Exactly, yeah.
Get
I'm
a
like,
get you
"Oh."
over the edge.
Yeah, maybe I should have sold a couple of them, I don't know.
No, make them go to the Kickstarter. I like that.
Yeah, but, you
And
know,
then original.
when people at conventions, they want stuff now, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
what I've
I
found, they're like, "Oh, why don't
100%.
I just I want it now."
I'm guilty of that too. All right, so the original art commission.
So, for $500, I'll do a commission of, anything you want, really. I try to stick to one character, but I'll do, like, a background.
Right.
So, yeah, it'll be really intricate, it'll be one of a kind. I'll print it out, and I'll sign it, and I'll send it to you, and I'll give you the digital version too. And, yeah, I've already had one person back that, and I actually got a guy at a convention, um, last week again, um, asked me to do a commission, and I was kinda like, "Well, can you do it through the Kickstarter?" He's like, "Yeah, but I can't pay all straight away. I don't have enough money up front." And I was like, "Okay. Pay me
Yeah.
half. I'll just do it on the side." So right now
Right.
I'm working on a cable commission, and I just showed him the first draft, and he loves it. So yeah, it's
Oh,
always
that's
fun to create new things that people come up with, you know.
yeah, I've got a couple friends that do some artwork, here and there. I get them to just support them, right? Like I love
Yeah, for
supporting
sure.
small publishers, small stores, small everything. So, well, cool. So that's that. How we doing on the campaign? Anybody else back? Not yet, but we'll get there. You got 5 days. We only need
Yeah, we've got time. Yeah,
hundred and what, $15? So
yeah, not much.
that's US. So yeah, another what, $200? Not even
Yes,
200. So
yeah,
get another backer to do the yearbook thing, and we're in there. I'll talk
yeah, yeah,
somebody into it.
yeah. I'll try my best to trust me.
So cool. So that's the Kickstarter. We'll move this back over here. Yeah, I mean, we'll like I said, I'll get this out tonight. It's July 6th, 7th for you, but
Yeah,
give me 12 hours ahead. But I'll get it out tonight. So I guess when does it end? I guess 5 days would be the 11th. So the
yeah,
12th for you.
yeah.
Okay, so July 10th, get it done.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we
Fantastic.
need to share for
It
you
ends.
that we need to cover?
Let me think. Well, if you want to check out some more of my artwork, you can go to my Instagram, which is at kgdesigns.art. If you want to see any more stuff about this, check out the Kickstarter or go to wildnorthcomics.com. And
Do they ship to the US?
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't looked. I've never been in the US and tried to order one, but I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah, because we have a warehouse. Um,
Well, and through Amazon, I guess you can get it.
yeah, exactly. We have a couple of different warehouses that we send to different places, and one of the places we send is to Amazon, and they distribute from there. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I've got some like rapid fire fun questions. I mean, you may have already covered one of them, but that's okay.
Okay.
So, who was your first favorite superhero or comic character favorite?
Yeah, probably it would have to be Wolverine. Yeah.
Wolverine, because you saw Wolverine number
Yeah.
100
I
and you
mean,
had
who
to get
didn't
it.
love Wolverine? He was the greatest. I mean, come on.
I agree. My comic shop has the first appearance of Wolverine, but it's a little out of my price range. So
Yeah, pricey. Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, yeah, I don't need that. I mean, it looked really good right here behind me
Yeah, it
though.
would look nice. Yeah,
But
for
I don't
sure.
want to, let me get to episode like 500 and actually make something off of this, and then we'll talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And it depends on what it's graded as well. If it's like a
Yeah, it's
9.
probably a 5.5, 5.6, or
Okay, that's it.
6.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it looks good, but yeah, it's a little pricey. Well, maybe somebody will hear this and actually want to, find out and reach out and he'll sell it. So that'd be
Yeah.
cool. All right. So that the first comic book you ever read as well?
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
thought so.
It was awesome. Yeah.
If you could live in a comic book universe, which one would it be?
Mm. Hmm. That's a really good question. It's funny because all of my favorite comics are really dark and they're places you wouldn't want to live.
I'm getting that answer a lot. It's like nobody wants to live in Marvel or DC. Like crap happens every day. I'm not
Yeah.
sure I want to live in Underclass. That school just
No,
doesn't
I
seem
wouldn't
like
wanna
a
live
good
there.
place to
No,
be.
no. Yeah, I love Sin City, but I wouldn't wanna live in that city.
Right. It's nice to watch, but I don't know if I'd want to live there.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I think maybe like Frank Miller's whole Millerverse is pretty fun, pretty cool. That'd be alright because there's a lot of different, cross genres and different creative types there. Like you could be a superhero like Kick-Ass, but then you also have like the magic order, so you could become a real superhero. You know what I mean? If you had a bit of magic,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty fun, I think. Yeah.
All right. So if you could have any superpower, which would you choose?
Ooh, that's a good question. Hmm. Oof. Oh man, that's tough. Probably the ability to like slow down time
Oh, that's a good one.
because then I could create stuff so much faster. You
Right.
know what I mean? I could really get every detail, and it would just go by like that.
Right. And you just be people don't almost be like a magician,
Yeah,
because like I created this in 10 seconds,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
me it's 10 seconds, but you're like, that's a good one. I like that.
yeah.
All
Thanks.
right. Which comic book character would you want to as your sidekick?
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. That's tough. I don't know that many sidekicks to be honest with you.
Well, you
You
could
know.
pick a regular it's your sidekick. So I mean it could be a regular superhero. Just
Okay, right. Yeah,
now it's
yeah.
just your sidekick.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, probably Batman then.
Heck yeah. The money and the gadgets and the
Yeah, exactly.
toys. Well, unless it's the Absolute, he don't have much money. So in I don't know if you've
Alright.
read the new Absolute series. He don't
No,
have
I
a.
have
That's like the whole gimmick in that book that he doesn't
so
have
he's a
money.
poor Batman.
He's a poor Batman. It's really good. It's
Wow.
it's
He just has to be
super
really
good.
strong then.
Yeah, he's really strong. He still got some toys, but and Alfred Pennyworth is kind of like a mercenary that kind of is helping him, not his butler. It's pretty
Cool.
cool. Alfred's always been my favorite because the A in AJ stands for Alfred, so that's my actual name.
Oh,
So
okay.
Alfred's always Batman, and Alfred's always been my favorite.
No, that's great.
I'm gonna have to edit that out. I just thought about no. All right, last one. If your life were a comic book, what would the title be?
Jeez. I don't know. The Chronicles of Kane Gallagher, maybe.
Oh, I love that. That's pretty good. Well, awesome. So yeah, you covered kgdesigns.art on Instagram to check you out, and I don't know if do you read messages, respond to messages on there from anybody?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. If you want to send me a message and ask for a commission or ask more about the Kickstarter, I'll get back to you for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
And you can
I'll
see
put the
all.
link to the Kickstarter in the description. Um, you know, yeah. So I really appreciate you being on. We'll get those things shared. Reach out. Hopefully, 5 days. I'm gonna be looking at it, be watching. So I'll try to help you out, get you over the hurdle. So
Yeah.
I was hoping it would happen like while we were recording. I was hoping it would push over, but
Yeah, that would be cool. If we're going boom, reach the goal. Yeah.
We'll see. If not, it's okay. Want to be on again? If you publish another book, or when you do book 2, we'll do this again. Go over that.
Yeah,
we'll push over. Is there anything else you want to cover or need to cover before we get off?
Not that I can think of, man. I think we've hit all the notes. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you, being on, and it was nice to meet you, and good luck in the future.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too, man, and I appreciate you having me on. And thanks for contributing to the Kickstarter. I didn't expect that, but I appreciate it hugely. You have no idea.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad to help. I try to help people, and it comes back to you, one day. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Definitely, man. We all got to help each other, especially in the indie.
We're all in this together. We're not against each other.
No, it's great. It's a great community.